This is our Wichita State feasibility study to bring back the Wichita State football team. My name is Wyatt, this is Casey, and Josh could not be here because he is actually in the hospital, but he did contribute on everything else other than the presentation.
All right, so I'll start with the introduction. Again, like he said, my name is Casey. So for this project, we were finding the feasibility of building either a new football stadium or renovating the current Cessna Stadium. The study is the initial step for Wichita State University. It'll focus on construction of a new stadium as well as renovation like I already discussed. The study is being done to see if the university will have a suitable facility, and if and when a football team is reestablished, if the university will be able to retain such construction and fan base. So the reasons for building a new stadium are very easy to see. First, the current stadium, Cessna Stadium, is outdated. It was built in 1969. It hasn't been in use for the last 20 years or so, or possibly 30 years, other than high school football and the track team. But for Division I football purposes, it has not been in use. It's been in a case of minor abandonment. Second, the construction of the new Shocker Hall has taken up the old parking spaces for the football stadium. So there lacks parking. If a football team was to be reestablished, there would have to be a new parking lot probably installed. Third, with the recent success of other Wichita State athletics such as men's and women's basketball, bowling, track and field, and the storied baseball program, enrollment has increased by 3.1% since 2014. Building a new football facility has the potential to increase enrollment and continue to increase the athletic budget. Another possibility would be the opportunity for Wichita State to move into a bigger athletic conference as well. Any new stadium must advance the university's fundamental academic mission to improve its financial circumstances, enhance campus life, and qualitatively improve the university and the football experience. The university should continue to gain support from the local students and faculty, as well as the community and businesses that surround the campus. The study will conclude that the feasibility of renovating versus building a new football stadium and should be used when consulting with project groups and or the public. So first, we're going to look at stadium analysis, basically a comparables analysis. We're going to look at Hoyt Field, which is the same field that Friends University football team plays on. Skip through my introduction there. The Hoyt Field is home to Friends football, like I said. It's home to Friends football team who plays in the NAIA conference. Seats up to 5,000 people and was built in 1970. So it's somewhat comparable to Cessna Stadium as far as construction. It was built in the same time frame as far as construction is concerned. And it was also one of the first fields to utilize artificial turf, which was known as AstroPlay at the time. Another local field that was built new is the BG Products Veteran Sports Field over in El Dorado. And that's home to the Butler Grizzlies. Butler Community College is a junior college, Division I. It's a 6,000 seat stadium, and it was spent using $12 million. And I think a majority of that was donated or invested in by BG Products, which would be the reason that their name is on the front of the stadium. So, BG Products Field is home to the latest technology and suites. They have large video boards, LED video boards, and it's also location-wise is a smaller demographic compared to Wichita. So we have two football stadiums nearby to relate to as far as renovating and building new, although the Wichita State complex would be fairly larger. Now we're going to look at some demographic data. And this is from the U.S. Census Bureau, looking at just Sedgwick County, Kansas. The population of Sedgwick County as of 2015 was 511 and 574 people. That's 510,000 people approximately. The median age is at 34 compared to the U.S. average of 37. So there is a younger demographic compared to the U.S. national standard. The average median household income is just under $50,000, which is also just under the national average. As a whole, Sedgwick County is right on average for the United States when comparing to median age, household income, and also unemployment is at 9.8%, which is higher than the national average of 5% and the Kansas average of 4%. The average poverty percent is at 14.7, and Wichita is showing an annual growth of 2.7%. So we're now going to take a look at some psychographic data. The psychographic of Wichita and Sedgwick County is basically traditionalized majority. This city and county is known for not taking large risks. So therefore, if a vote were to take place on whether to build a new stadium, it would be a close vote. I believe the poll that backed the Interest Bank Arena back in 2004 was passed by a 52% to 48% vote. So it's very close margins. Around the same time frame, a casino was being voted on, and it lost by a margin of 43 to 56%. So it's a very split psychographic. It depends on the nature of people who are voting. I think because this county and city supports its sports, it's a very large sport community, that a vote would pass. It is a younger population. Sports are a top priority in this county. So according to this study, we feel that a new stadium, if it were to be voted on, would pass. Now we're going to go on to stadium data as far as parking and location are concerned. Parking, a school would have to completely rethink parking if they became successful and if they were able to fill the stadium, and that is Cessna Stadium. They would need at least 15,000 parking spaces at WSU. That would be just about all spaces on campus and then some. Parking garage is located right next to the stadium, so it would be convenient, but definitely not enough. And next we have to look at seating. The stadium is currently set up to hold 24,000 fans. Back in 1986, it could hold just around 30,000. So having 24,000 seats would be a little small for a Division I school, but it would be a good place to start at as far as bringing back a team and starting small. So location-wise, location is perfect for students and fans to easily access because it is on campus and it is right next door to Charles Koch Arena. So there wouldn't be a necessary change for location, although we could look at the recently shut down golf course as a possibility. If a new stadium were to be built, then that would be a good location to look at as far as building a new stadium, would be the old golf course. And that would be next to also the new Innovation Campus. Construction costs, renovating and updating the standing infrastructure and facilities now would be much more cost effective now if they outgrow the location later on. Then a new stadium would have been smart, but the likelihood of the need of a new stadium is a bit extreme, and the current stadium would be increased in size to some degree. Locker rooms, new concessions, new seats, and parking would be the main needs. The cost to update would be around $10 million, and that's for full renovation. A new stadium and facilities would be well over $100 million. According to the feasibility study by the University of Minnesota in 2003, the cost of just the construction of the stadium alone was around $148 million, and that is for a 50,000 seat stadium. The entire project was slated at $222 million. Again, that was in 2003, and since then, we can account for inflation, and costs have certainly gone up for new construction. Now I'm gonna hand it over to Wyatt.
All right, now we're going to talk about the market demand. The thing with market demand, most of it's going to come from your ticket sales. So the ticket demand, because football is huge and Wichita's missing out on a lot of college action at the Division I and Division II levels around the area, the demand we feel like would be supremely high because people want to see football. Football's probably the most popular sport in America already, and it continues to grow. And the way the ticket sales and stuff like that will also help fund the stadium and stuff like that would be corporate sponsorship. Getting corporations to help fund the stadium, either new or help renovate, would be pretty huge. And then the way we can help them, as well as them helping us, would be giving them naming rights for the stadium, such as like the turf, like the field, or something like that. Like the stadium also needs a new name. You can do a jumbotron with the name and stuff like that. Project description is next. This is pretty much how the project will unfold after reviewing and going over the market analysis. First, we'll start with a survey to see who's interested and what opinions they may have. Then we'll probably need to get approvals from a bunch of citywide people and stuff that can actually help us with this building and renovating. After we get the approvals and the project team and all that stuff put together, fundraising will need to begin, and we'll need to find willing sponsorships. And then one way we could also help with that is maybe do some advertising or something like that about the new stadium. Then we could prepare the current facility on the renovations, such as like the utilities and things like that. We need to get the building permits and the needed material. We feel like that'll definitely take the longest part of this whole process, probably up to a year to do all that stuff. And then we'll have the bidding be sent out to a contract to build, and of course we'll pick the lowest bidder who's willing to do it. And then lastly, we'll begin the construction of the building and the facilities that we need. The key project assumptions is next. Right here is pretty much like the financing options. We'll do public and private financing. Public financing would be like your grants and your corporate sponsorships. Increasing your student fees and parking prices and stuff like that will help pay for it as well. Not sure how many students would be willing to do that, but at the same time, it's going to be a risk that you're going to have to take if you want football.